we are excited to introduce our final keynote speaker. Jonathan Jackson comes to us from MetaBank. He is an information security professional with over 20 years of experience in the IT and security field. He has worked for major financial institutions for the last 15 years and has been dedicated to information security for the last 12. In his current role as Director of Information Security for MetaBank, Jonathan manages multiple security teams that focus on security operations, security engineering, disaster recovery, and third-party security oversight. The teams are very technical and also play a major role in all the internal and external audits that are performed by regulators, industry reviewers, and partners. Jonathan holds many industry certifications, including the ISC2, CISSP. Please welcome our final keynote, valued EarthBend customer, Jonathan Jackson.
Okay, guys. Well, hey, thanks for having me. I'm just going to brag a little bit before I get started and thank Brandy. So, I didn't want to be the last guy to talk, and then really all I am is a barrier to alcohol. And so I asked Brandy if she could get the beer out early. Thank you, Brandy. And I wanted you all to kind of not remember what I'm going to say. Anyways, thanks for the great introduction. Most of that stuff, everybody knows me as John. Marketing did that, so don't call me Jonathan unless they're mad at me, please. So, and you know, we two names up there. This Chris Seacrest guy, he's one of my managers, and he's a DerbyCon. And we'll talk more about training and stuff later, but so he stood me up, so I'm up here alone. That's right. A lot of this is going to be, thanks Luke, a lot of this is new to me, because usually when I do these kind of talks, it's more on the technical side, which is funny because I kind of get a number every day. But this is different for me, so bear with me, and this is how I did it, or how we do it at MetaBank. Doesn't mean it's the right way, it means the only way, it just means how we did it. So, high level, this is kind of how our teams are laid out. We kind of got our VP, multiple other security team or information technology teams report out through him. Then you kind of have me and my areas of responsibility, which are the security operations and engineering teams, disaster recovery, audit coordination, and we had a lot of really good comments and conversations earlier about audits and IT audit. But it truly is, anybody who's worked in financial institutions knows, really need that person to coordinate audits, because there's a lot of requests and a lot of information that has to be coordinated for them. And then lastly, but not leastly, is our information security manager over what we call SRO, Security Operation or Security Risk and Oversight. And this team primarily is responsible for, lack of a better term, vendor management. We are unique, I think, in that what we do, anybody who we share data with, so anybody who would have any PII data or PCI data that belongs to us, the bank, we actually go and do security assessments on these people. So that's what that whole team does. So what do they all do? So security operations and engineering. Well, this is fairly obvious for anybody who's a security practitioner. What do these guys do? Well, they're looking for vulnerabilities in our environment. That's kind of their bread and butter. They're constantly out there looking for those types of things. Day-to-day tasks, log review, might be the walk-ups, any instant response type items. I'll talk more about it in a little bit, but customer service is very important to us, because who's our customer? As a security team, who's our customer? It's the bank. They're our customer. So we have to have that customer service aspect. A lot of access requests, different access we have to approve. And on that note, I'm going to mention a lot of the people that talked about really a lot of technologies. It's a little bit like the who's who of vendors at MetaBank. Remember, a lot of the people that talk today, we use a lot of their technologies. Architecture and design, they handle that. They're also responsible for all of the training that we provide to our internal customers. Whether it's one-on-one type training or required, everybody loves the annual security training that you have to go to. And I'll talk about that more a little bit. We'll make that more exciting for them. The ever-popular documentation. Who loves to write documentation? Or even worse, who loves to review documentation annually because you have to. Yeah. And then organizational alignment. The security risk and oversight team I mentioned, third-party assessments. So we designed a program where we spend a couple of days on site with every one of our partners that we share data with. And I know that the first presenter really talked a lot about, and Kevin Scrub also talked a lot about vendor management, knowing your vendors. That's how we decided to do it. We risk people out based, again, with a risk assessment. We say, well, what data do they have? How much of it do they have? And how important is it that they protect that data to us? We decided the only way that we can be 100% sure they're protecting that data is to go and see for ourselves. So that team goes out. I think currently we have 67 or 68 partners that we review, depending on their risk level, every 6 months, every year, every 2 years. Of course, we're shooting for that every 2 years because we want that low risk category. And it's a very technical review. These guys are technicians. It's 1/3 policy and like how are you doing things, and 2/3 showing your firewall configuration. I want to see what ports you have inbound and outbound coming into your environment. I want to see how you guard your servers, all things like that. Configuration, these guys also security risk and oversight, so they can help with oversight. Configuration management, making sure tools, things are configured appropriately, desktops, every endpoint in your environment. They got beat to death today, I think, but every endpoint in your environment is just as important as the one next to it, so we treat them all the same, doesn't matter what it is. They handle our risk assessment, and then they handle, again, all that ever fun audit coordination. Disaster recovery. So it is what they said, and Kevin said it great. It's the CIA tried it. And so we have to take care of our DR planning and testing. The key there for anybody who's involved in TR is the testing, because when the auditors come in, we can all talk on the technical side and say, well, yeah, look, we have these very disparate data centers, we have this, and this is backed up, and that's backed up, and they all want to know, did you test it? And after you tested it, did you document the results? That's really the product of that. That particular team actually also handles incident response coordination. So anytime we have an incident where we figure we have to kind of activate the incident response team, it might not be the entire team, but more of maybe a mini team where something's happened and we need to investigate it. They handle that coordination and that documentation to make sure that we can report that up again through to the auditors and the executives. And they also handle the business impact analysis. So I'll try to talk a little more about building a team. And when I started at MetaBank, it was really just me and one other guy. It was just 2 of us. We're kind of the team. Now the team is 12 people. And sometimes people say, well, geez, why do you have such a huge security team for such a small to medium-sized organization? Well, it's the totality of what we're trying to protect. And I'm not going to get into more details, but we have a lot of reasons to protect our data. For me, reputation probably being the #1 thing. So this is kind of how we worked through the years to build up a security team. One thing that I've learned through this journey is that a group of people isn't necessarily a team. And everybody who's on the team knows exactly what I mean. You might have 10 people that are on a team, but they're not a team. It's 3 factions within a team. So getting the right people is really important. I figured out that teams should have a common goal, common problems, and enthusiasm about what they do. If you're really just coming, I mean, you guys are all either security professionals or IT professionals in this room, it's one of these things that you have to have a passion for. If you're that 8 to 5 guy that just says, I just want to come to work, I want to build widget A and widget B and widget C and go home, maybe that's the best career path for you, because they have to have some sort of excitement for this career. Because it's not always that exciting. I mean, reading logs isn't always the funnest thing to do. Also figured out that the team should have a common approach. So how they approach things, how the different people handle the problem, should kind of be the same. And it's consistency within your environment. Mutual accountability, the defined responsibility, desirable behavior, and that all needs to be reinforced by leadership. So I'm not going to get into the gory details of some of the desirable behavior because, again, we're all people. But accountability is huge to me. Look, if you mess up, say you messed up. you're also accountable to your team when you come in and go into the work that you get done. And we select a diversified, or try to select a diversified team made up of the contributors, collaborators, communicators, and challengers, so that you've got those skill sets within that security team. Business alignment. So this is the big thing. We're all IT security professionals or IT professionals, and what do we want to do? We want the bright, shiny technology, and we want this piece and that piece, and we want the cool stuff. But at the end of the day, we have to align that with our business goals. And we're not always aware of what that is. So I think knowing your business is very, very important. You have to know your business. Because if you don't know what you're trying to protect, you don't know what to protect in the first place. So, again, understand your organization and what you're protecting. It's okay to me, I mean, all organizations have a mission statement. So everybody's got a mission statement for their organization, for whatever it is, and usually marketing gets a hold of it. It's 30 paragraphs long, and it's not really a mission statement, it's more of a mini book. I think it's okay for your teams, or even the factions of your team, to have mission statements. The mission statement for my team is facilitate business securely. That's our mission statement. Without the business, I don't have a job. I tell them that all the time. Like, look, you guys got to go out and make money, and I got to make sure you can make money. Because if you don't, I don't get to come to work tomorrow. And I like going to work. I like the job, and you got to like to get paid so I can live. So I think it's okay to have that kind of mini mission statement. And make sure your goals are aligned with the business needs. The business might need help. They might need advice and a little hand-holding on what risks they're facing. I think Kevin did a great job of displaying that for us. The business isn't always aware to what is going on and what they need to watch out for. Risk assessment is key in deciding that. So business cases. When you want to buy that new shiny toy or that new piece of technology that you want, how do you get the business to buy into that? Whether it's a new business opportunity, initiatives, new products, acquisitions. My company happens to be in an acquisition state right now, so as you're buying companies, what do we do? The business requirements around that, PCI, HIPAA, regulatory. So Luke knows, I know there's other bankers in here, but what's the number one thing I have to worry about? PCI, HIPAA, we have to worry about it. The number one thing, regulatory. I'm always worried about the regulators. So, and then again, that risk assessment. We need to build those business cases. And I think it's always bad to go to no matter who you have to go to and ask we need to buy this, we need to buy that. As you're building this case, I think it's always bad to use negative terminology. So if you go to them and you say, look, if we don't buy XYZ product, we're going to get hacked. Is that your best approach? I mean, it might scare them, and they might say, yeah, I want to buy that. I think it's better to be more positive and open with them and say, look, these are our risks we face. This is the solution I'm trying to solve. If we don't do it, these are residual risks of not doing this particular implementation. Executive support. I can't say enough about our executives. I'm so blessed to work for a company like MetaBank. Our executives get it. They understand the risks that we present to them. They understand the investment that needed to make into security. I talked a few days ago, I ran into our president, and I just said, hey, you have 2 minutes to talk to me about your support of our security program and why that is important to you, because you've never said no. I've never asked for something and you said no, you can't have that. And I won't tell you everything he said, but at the end of the conversation, it really came down to fear and present danger. We're a financial institution. We have a target on our back. I think Kevin did a great job of explaining that. But we're targeted. People ask all the time, how many attacks do you guys see in a day? And I always go back to you guys ever seen the movie Men in Black when Tommy Lee Jones is explaining that some sort of warship ready to destroy Earth? Well, that's us. Right? I mean, it's just constantly under attack. So executive support, I think, is huge, and we're very lucky where I work. But part of that is effective communication to that management. If you go in there again and you say, like, look, I need to buy this because of this technical reason, that technical reason, that technical reason, they're not going to buy it. It gets lost in the minutia. They want to know eye level, what it is you're trying to do, how much it's going to cost them, and the risks if they don't do it. Policy directives, Kevin talked a lot about the AUPs, all the different policies you might have. All of those directives require support from the executives for success. It has to be a culture within your environment that, look, these things are important to us. And then funding decisions are often made on how well risks are articulated. We articulate the risk, and that's how they usually decide how they're going to fund it. So I talked about culture before. The big reason I feel we're successful at MetaBank is we've created a really good security culture. And part of that is so for those who have worked at MetaBank before or currently do, what's the same thing I was asking our annual security training? Whose job is security? It's everybody's job. All the people from the videos that Sophos had were great. They're awesome. In fact, Sophos used to give out these little books, the threat source, I think they called it, and we used to hand those out at our security training because it was great to have all these great little analogies. But it is everybody's job. It doesn't matter if you're the receptionist, the janitor. It's all of our jobs to make sure that the environment is secure. Everybody hates annual security training. Like, I'm a security guy. I'm an IT guy. So when you get to BSA AML training, how am I feeling? Miserable. I hate it. I don't want to go through an hour of BSA AML training. It is terrifying. So we try to build effective, engaging training. And that's sometimes hard. Again, the business is our customer, so that customer service is key. We have to treat everybody with respect. We have to be attentive to their needs. One of the ways that we do that is we're hopefully it's okay to use the products that demonstrated today, but we use Sophos. And one of the great things for us, besides the SARS from Sophos, is the Sophos guy in here so that I can get some free stuff from them? I'm just kidding. But one of the great things that Sophos does is that they allow an at-home license for all of your employees if you have their product. So that's a huge win for us. So I can, in security training or new hire training, I can go in there and say, look, as an employee of MetaBank, you all get a free copy of Sophos. Great. Helps with that culture. Kevin talked about lunch and learn presentations. We do that. We don't do as much as we should, but we do that. And what we do at our lunch and learn presentations is nobody wants to hear me get up there and talk about GLBAs. I mean, ooh, how exciting is the Grammley-Swiley Act? Not very. But they want to hear things. How do I secure my home Wi-Fi? How do I protect my family on the internet? How do I see what my kids are doing on their computer? That's the kind of stuff they want to know. And sure, it's not business specific, but what does it help me do? It helps me build that security culture. And then we do a lot of lab demonstrations. I don't get to do these anymore because again, I number every day. But a lot of the guys on the team do it. And so we buy a lot of hacking tools. We have like Wi-Fi pineapples. That's always a famous thing. You have to kind of give the disclaimer when you start the Wi-Fi pineapple that A, don't connect to it. B, you need appropriate access points to show up on the board are not my fault. And it's cool to show people, like, look, these are the risks. This is how easy this is. We spent 99 bucks on this thing, and we can intercept all your Wi-Fi traffic. Well, we have a home pad. We use Metasploit to kind of sometimes show how easy it is to attack a computer. And then one of the most famous ones, I think, is the simplest one. It's just a simple card reader and writer, just to show people, hey, what's in your hotel room key here? If you know what's picked up in your hotel room key, you can show them. Then also show them how easy it is to make their hotel room key into a credit card, or vice versa. So all of that stuff to help security. Security team training. So we buy all these tools, we buy all this equipment, we have all these awesome things, and if we buy them and then we check that box, check. We have a logger, we have logging, we're compliant, we have antivirus, check. That doesn't do us a lot of good. The tools and process have to be managed by a professional, full-time security team. And in order to do that, we have to train them. So, on the certification side, it's important. The certifications are important to that team member, but they're also important to the organization. In particular, when the regulators roll around and they say, look, why is your security team qualified to do what they do? Well, then you can say, well, look, we did these trainings, these are certifications they've got. A lot of people are afraid that, look, if I invest this money in my employee and they get the certification, they're going to move on to the next organization for the next big bump. They might. I haven't seen that. We've had a little bit of turnover. For the most part, I'm going to train you again next year, and we kind of let you do what you want within a reason. So you're going to get to go again next year. So, and if they do move on, good for them. That's part of what we're here for, is how people's career grows. They have to be able to master the tools to secure the organization. So beyond just the annual security training, if we have a specific vendor training they have to go to, we always send our people to those. The training should be budgeted annually for each team member. So every year, it was budget time, it's not that long ago for us, we laid out a budget for every person, talk to managers and people, what do you want to do, how much it's going to cost, so we get that in our budget ahead of time. That training should be aligned to the organizational goals, but as well as the growth of the employee. What I mean by that is, right now, like I said, Chris, the guy who's supposed to be here with me, he's a derby camp, which is like the new DEF CON, if you guys remember. That's like the new cool thing that all the nerds get to do is they like to go to derby camp. Well, I'm not going to tell Chris that you can't go to derby camp because I want you to go to Securing SQL Server 2010. But if we have a need for him to go to that training, we're going to make him go to that training. But it's important that they get to do those things. And I was saying all of the 3 E's. Education, they have to train their people. Exposure, they have to be exposed to the environments. And then our experience, just learning long-term what to do. And then retention. We have to treat people fairly. Again, provide that training. Listen to ideas and concerns. A lot of times, the guys will have great ideas, and sometimes they're afraid to approach management, even me, about what their ideas are. I'm approachable. I want them to come and tell me what they think is the best way to secure the environment. The reason we hired them in the first place is because they're really smart, so we want them to tell us what to do. And then challenge the norms to accept alternatives. I mean, I expect them to challenge us. Why is it we have to do this? This seems stupid to me. And we all have a million things that we do every day, but we do it for policies or compliance or audit, whatever it might be. And that's it. Anybody? I don't have a lot of things you probably ask questions on, but I'm ready to answer them if you have.
How many years have you been at it?
As in my current role, so I've been the Information Security Manager at MetaBank. I was since 2009, and then in May I was promoted to Director. IT, 20-some years, 1993. Yes, sir.
How big are your teams then?
So you've got me, the Director. I've got a manager of the Security and Operations team, and he has 4 people. We have 2 DR people, and then the Security, Risk, and Operations side has a open rec for manager. It's not filled yet, and then they have 4 people. So
you went from 2 to 12 in what period of time?
Since 2009, so 6 years. Yeah, and we're going to have, the other thing I was going to say is a shameless plug is that, you guys might be looking for work. It's incredibly hard to find talented security people. We're going to have some open racks coming up very soon. So check out MetaBank.com careers. Yeah, that'd be online. Yes, sir.
I want to go back to your numbers and investment in relation to how many employees, how many desktops.
So, roughly 600 people in the environment. So yeah, we have, people, a lot of people say, well, that's a large security team. But again, that's the totality of what you're trying to protect, and I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty details of our business, but we're a bank. And we're a bank that happens to move a whole lot of money. So it's important for us to protect that image. Yes, sir.
Do you do more online or?
So all the training questions. So we used to say like SANS is very popular with us. You guys all heard of SANS training. That's real popular with us. The SANS certifications are real popular. We used to kind of say, look, if you're busy, you don't want to travel, take the BLive class or one of the online classes. I'm kind of against that now. I just came back from SANS in Las Vegas. I want the guys to go off somewhere where they can Because regardless if you're doing a live training or the V-Live or an online class, inevitably, you're going to get interrupted, you're going to get pulled away from it, you're not focused on it. If we send the guys away where they can say like, yeah, look, you're going to do some advanced malware analysis for a week. I mean, it sounds terrifying to me, but a lot of them are like, yay! And so yeah, we try to send people away to business training whenever possible.
Do you use like a specific organization, or you just kind of search out training?
So, good question. This question was about do we use a specific organization. We tend to like SANS classes because the SANS organization does a really good job with security. One thing that I do require is that if you're going to be a security analyst 2 or above on our team, you have to have a CISSP. So if you come to the organization and you don't have that, we'll pay for you to go get the CISSP certification. So that's what we're looking for when you get to our organization. Good questions. Yes, sir.
John, I understand you're using Cloud9. How's that to work with
Bit9?
Bit9.
Yeah, Bit9. No, Bit9's great. It's a great product. I was bragging to these guys about it earlier because I've worked in half the room, I think, sometime in my life. So, no, Bit9 is an awesome tool. I can't do it near as much justice as he did it. Doing that in the carbon black piece and our other edge protections that all the key talk to each other. It's awesome. It's a great. It helps me sleep at night, so I'm very, very happy with it at night. So, other questions? The beer is already out. So,
Are you tracking your percent of IT spend versus revenue for budget?
so we budget. I'm probably a selfish budgeter. I'm asked what I want, or what I need for staff, equipment, licensing, things like that. I provide that to my senior management, and they kind of deal with the CFO and all those folks on what the percentage is. That's why I can't answer that question. I'm sorry. I should have been prepared for that. I will tell you that I think when I look at my security budget, because all infrastructure reports up to the same person, and when I look at our infrastructure budget, security winds up being about a third of the budget. So. Yes, sir.
What's your most difficult regulatory agency to work with?
I'm not going to comment on the most regulatory agency to work with. Regulators are a challenge. All the audits are a challenge because, again, especially when you bring newer security members on that maybe aren't used to working for banks, they don't get the regulatory aspect of it or the compliance aspect of it. And so, I mean, PCI is a great example of, it's a necessary evil. I don't lose sleep over PCI, I'll put it that way. That's the least of my concerns. The PCI assessment are going to come in and lock my front door. So, good question, though. Other questions, comments? Sure. All right, well, guys, thanks very much for listening to me ramble.